Welcome to Hotline TV. I'm Quinn McCord.
And I'm Tim Saad.
Today we're taking a look at 5 House seats where Democratic hopes to hold the seat have grown increasingly grim, going down. Now today we have with us our House race editor, Tim Saad, who knows a little something, just a little something, about hopelessness.
How do I know something about hopelessness?
Well, take a look. Anyways, the 5 House seats are all here.
Okay, we'll bypass that. Okay, go ahead.
And Tim, I want you to rank them in terms of like how far they moved up in terms of competitiveness, likelihood of Republicans taking over. All right.
Right. And do you mind if I put that there?
Oh, come on.
Perhaps over there. I think
walk us through this.
Be good for our ratings. Okay, number 5. We're gonna do this on the incumbents who have shot up our list and vulnerability. And number 5 is. I can't see 5. Michael Arcuri.
Michael Arcuri? I didn't even know he was targeted.
Well, he is. He was. He's from upstate New York, Utica-based. The unemployment rate there is rather high, much higher than even the state average, or around the state average, which is very high. He was also considered not to be, at some point, not to be even running for re-election. That would be highly unusual. It's just his. It would just be his running for just his third term.
Yes.
He's running against a very successful businessman who came within, Richard Hanna, who came within 2 points of beating him last time, surprisingly so. He's not a very good fundraiser. He's getting that in gear, but things are not looking very good for
so
Michael.
It's on the target list.
It's moving up the target list. We'll see if that can continue to rise.
All right, what's next?
Number 4 on our list is Stephanie Herseth-Sandlin. And that would be, I thank you for holding that, by the way.
Sure.
I thought I was, but that's good. Stephanie Herseth-Sandlin came out of the primary. She, of course, had no opposition. But her primary challenger, Kristi Noem, a state representative, is not a surprise choice, but she sort of sprang up from the bottom. She was a late entrant into the primary. She didn't really raise much money, although she put together a good campaign. She released 2 really good TV ads. That really gave a sense of her.
It's the first time a woman has faced Herseth.
Right, and in a sense, she's a perfect match because she's also a rancher like Herseth-Sandlin, and she's also a farmer rancher, knows agricultural issues. She'll be able to battle her on those issues, and is a very good match. New polls out after the primary show Kristi Noem ahead of Stephanie Herseth-Sandlin. Not a lot of people thought that would be the case. We'll see if those numbers play out in other polls and not just a Rasmussen poll.
Well, the one question I still have is why does Stephanie Herseth marry Max Sandlin? Sorry about that.
It's also, but the question is, that's going to become an issue, and it's already become an issue in campaign, only in the sense that he's now a lobbyist.
Well, it's an issue for me because I thought she could do better, but that's just me. All right.
I'm hopelessness.
Yes.
And number 3 on our list.
Arkansas
won open seat, and this is Marion Barry's open seat. This is.
I would have thought, this is Arkansas's Republican. I would have thought this would have been a targeted race, but it wasn't until now.
It was a targeted list in the sense of Republicans thought they always had a good chance there. At first they didn't think they had a good nominee, or as good a nominee as they could have gotten. And Rick Crawford is an agricultural broadcaster. He jumped into the race against Marion Barry, so he was already in the race. And then Marion Barry retired. So I think a lot of Republicans thought, okay, now we can get a really strong challenger to get in there. No one got in. But Rick Crawford has seemed to have been pulling things together money-wise and organization-wise, and Republicans came out with a poll showing him leading the new Democratic challenger, Chad Causey, who is Marion Barry's chief of staff, by a few points. Chad Causey has still not united the Democratic Party. His runoff challenger, who is a conservative, is not backing his campaign yet. We'll see if he does. But right now, things are looking good in a place where Republicans should be doing well.
Well, let's remember Conrad Burns was an agricultural broadcaster and got elected to the Senate. So
it's a very small caucus,
precedent.
but a successful one indeed. Second on the list,
Glenn Nye.
Well,
I knew I don't know anything about House races. Even I knew he was targeted.
Well, he is. The problem is, the Republicans had a very, very testy primary. There was a clear front runner in car dealer Scott Ridgell. He emerged from the primary with a pretty strong, around double-digit win. But he emerged He released a poll after the primary showing him with the lead. So this was always going to be a tough race. This clearly just got much more. The Republican Party coalesced behind his bid. He's going to have all the money he wants for this race, and it's going to be a very, very tough race for Glenn Nye to survive.
So what is the biggest leap up in your rankings this week, Timothy?
These were from 2 weeks ago, and this is our biggest jumper is Travis Childers. And
wow, poor Travis Childers.
Now Travis Childers is doing everything you can ask a Democratic incumbent to do. You know, he got the right to life endorsement, he got the NRA endorsement. These are not obviously typical group Democratic endorsers.
I dare say.
So Travis Childers is doing everything. His conservative voting rate's third most conservative, according to the National Journal Vote Rankings in 2009. He's doing everything he should do. Yet
you still can't get anywhere.
Alan Nunnally,
just like my dating life.
Well, we'll keep that out. This is a.
I'm sorry. This is a sober professional show. Keep going, Timothy.
It's just lunch, so you can't pick up anybody through this.
I've never done that.
So the question is, can Travis Childers overcome the just overwhelmingly Republican nature of this district? His people think he can. His people think he's all right still now.
Well, they're paid to think he can.
Right.
Why would you work for someone if you thought you were going to lose?
Right, but they argue that we're overestimating his opponent, State Senator Alan Nunnally's chances. Alan Nunnally, of course, released a poll showing him up by 9 following a primary. We still haven't seen a Travis Childers poll, although they argue he doesn't have a lead. But at this point, Travis Childers is quickly moving up our list of vulnerable candidates.
Which is
incumbents.
A great transition in terms of our bandwagon segment, Timothy.
Yes.
Is there anyone's bandwagon you're moving on or off this week?
Well, I'm moving off viral ads.
Oh.
I think, I don't know, I'm over them.
Yeah, because web ads.
Web ads, and
no one sees them.
Especially in House races. There was one in the primary in Alabama 2 runoff. There's a guy, Rick Barber, who's a Tea Party favorite, and he's got founding fathers sitting around a table with him, and it's causing all kinds of consternation in the blogosphere and everything online. But how much does this really impact what's going on in the district? This happened in Alabama's 5th district, where Parker Griffith was running, and there was this Les Phillip was his name. He was a businessman. He was an African American, but he ran a viral ad starting out, touting why he was different than Barack Obama, who's also obviously African American, and it was a controversial ad. They hoped to get a lot out of it. He was extreme 3rd place in that primary.
Well, I'll tell you whose bandwagon I'm jumping off of. Not really, but Russ Feingold. I mean, It's not that I was ever off or on of his bandwagon. I mean, there's a new poll out saying he's vulnerable. I guess the thing I would say is we should always have known that it was going to be a close race. I mean,
regardless.
He's only gotten 55%, which was his high point 6 years ago. I'm not saying he's going to lose. I'm not even saying he's a toss-up by any means. But for people who thought this was like, outside the top 20, well, it's definitely a top 20 race, or maybe even top 15 or so. I mean, it's competitive. And for people who thought like, oh, I've forgotten Russ Feingold is up this year. Well, no, he is up this year, and it's going to be a close race. And
Republicans have coalesced around Johnson.
Yeah, it seems to be the case, and he's got a lot of money. I mean, there's still some squabbling over Ron Johnson, but he'll be the nominee. So, anyways, it's time for our TV ad of the week. Let's run it.
Before I decided to run for the Senate, I had a regular job. Okay, maybe not a regular job. I was the CEO of World Wrestling Entertainment, a soap opera that entertains millions every week. And everyone gets in on the action. That isn't real, but our problems are. Connecticut families are hurting. We're losing jobs because Washington politicians are spending money we don't have. Last year, Connecticut was 47th in job creation. We can do better. We've got to do better.
I found a couple things really interesting about this Linda McMahon ad. One thing is how frickin' blue her eyes are. I am not sure that is a natural color for any human eyes. I bet they've been enhanced somewhat. She's a very attractive woman. We've met her, but I don't know anyone's eyes really that blue. And secondly, the fact that she's incorporating this WWE footage, some people would say, why are you bringing it up? This is your weak point. Well, that's the point. That you need to sort of preemptively get out of the way. And I think the strongest point about this, the whole WWE stuff to begin with, is as she says, everyone knows it's fake. I mean, maybe some really bad stuff will come out, in terms of misfeasance on her part. But I think a lot of people realize that, wrestling is a dangerous sport. So it's really going to be big stuff for that to sink her candidacy.
Although I agree that it's obviously smart to bring it up, and she has to. It's the elephant in the room when you talk about her candidacy. So it's really smart to bring it up, and they show some violent elements even right in the TV ad, which I think is smart too. But I think though that to think that that's going to clear off any sort of future problems on WWE is unrealistic to think. So I think she's obviously still going to. I think that's going to be the major argument against her campaign. But I do agree that it's obviously a really smart idea to bring it up.
But I thought it was a pretty good ad.
Yeah, very
Didn't
smart.
you?
Very smart. Although the blue eyes apparently. Although you and Linda would then have something in common.
I know. I have very nice blue eyes. You have very
Yeah.
nice. Are they hazel?
I haven't even checked.
Oh, sorry.
See you later.
Bye bye. See you next time on Hotline TV.